agents had no business to actually acquire that kind of property, because in terms of the law, they're not allowed to buy property. Are you aware, do you know of any property belonging to crime intelligence somewhere around Musgrave in Durban?
I do not know, Honourable Member. The property that I was briefed about, which crime intelligence were vacating from, was in Pinetown, an old dilapidated building. That's the only property that I was told. Again, not bought, but it was leased for them. They didn't buy it. But the properties that were bought by crime intelligence, I don't want to lie. As I said, I'm not at crime intelligence. For Mr. Paul O'Sullivan to even know about things like that, it just shows again the access that he has.
Well, thank you, General. On paragraph 23 of Honorable Adam's statement, he talks about the arrest of Lieutenant General Khumalo and other high-ranking police officers. I'm not too sure who actually the complainant is and what their charges are. Would you share that with us?
That is one controversial matter, Honourable Member, because Mr. Adams alleges that he received something underneath the door in his office. And he went to the police station to open a case. He says, Mr. Adams, he did not give the details of the case. In other words, there were no elements of crime on the case dockets when he reported it. So it should not have been registered in the first place. He claims that General Lincoln, the late, warned him that this matter is not going to be attended to in Cape Town. And then he flies to Pretoria. He flies to Joburg. And he lands in Joburg, goes to Orlando, and he opens other cases in Orlando. Same complaint. He thereafter writes to the Minister of Police and complains about both provinces interfering with his complaint. The Minister of Police then makes a reference of this complaint of Adams to IDEC through the Chief of Staff. IDEC receive these complaints and they sit and do nothing about it. Until the day when General Khumalo and the team start searching Ket Matlala and arresting Molefe on the 6th of December. Then IDEC springs into action. And they come in looking for these dockets. They go to Gauteng, they don't get them, they go to head office, Sintumule gives it to them. But fast forward, in June 2025, 6-7 months later, they register a case in Brooklyn, IDEC, which a case that has got a complainant who's Mr. Adams, on the statement written in January, and then they arrested him. So then I wonder, the question is, what did IDEC do with these dockets that they picked up from Jarrison Tumuli? They took them without the referral, but they took these dockets. What did they do with them? And now there's another arrest on the side. So I like to believe that an arrest in court, from the papers I've seen, is as a result of the case open in Brooklyn and as a result of a complaint that came from Mr. Adams. But I'll invite these members to pay very close attention on that case. The outcome thereof, the beginning is the bail condition, and the judge has already made some pronouncement. The outcome thereof, of that docket, we can reconvene again and say everything was above board in that case. I'll bet my money those members are going to be acquitted.
Well, thank you, General. In paragraph 26, if I'm not mistaken, is actually that is Honorable Mr. Adams is accusing you of having lied under oath before this ad hoc committee. And if you like, I can actually read you the paragraph so that you understand the context where he's actually coming from. If you do not have the statement, his statement there, it's paragraph 25. And he says, General Mkhwanazi is an eloquent man. He is more charismatic than most. And the last time, or last line of defense for those who see the subs as their own ATM. He's now actually saying that you are the last line of defense for those who actually see the subs as their ATM. And he goes further to say, for those familiar with the facts of the matter, the show of force was a farce. As the most popular man in the country, he told lies that consumed the nation. And he goes on to say, both the press conference and his testimony at the ad hoc committee would have been dismissed in any civilized country by any civilized court. Yeah. That is on record here.
Yes. I had said when I came here before that you must invite this Mr. Paul O'Sullivan to come here. Mr. Paul O'Sullivan has got too much power in this country. But I don't know who gave him these powers. That's why he can stand before this committee and walk out, because of the powers that he has.
Sorry, General, this is Honorable Adam saying this.
Oh, is it? Oh, yes.
Yes, I'm reading from his.
It's from Mr. Adams. Yeah, well, somebody says must give us a room. Honorable Chair and members, I was watching Mr. Adams when he was testifying here. When he's asked to state something, whether is it fact or not, he doesn't want to. He wants to explain. That's why I'm even drawing your attention that the man sits here and he says, I was wrong about Khumalo on July unrest. And I come back, no, I was not wrong, I was right. So how can you be? This is a sign, Honorable Chair and members, that school is very important. You have to learn to read. If you don't read, you miss things. That's very critical. So everything written in that statement is his own mind. That's what he thinks about. It's not the things that he knows as facts. He says that him and his wife were discussing and said the only reason for this press conference is this. He made a conclusion already. I'm glad he's not sitting amongst you here to ask questions to the witnesses that are coming here, because he already prejudged that which happened on the 6th of July as a member of parliament. School again.
Thank you, Nkwali, General. The PKTT, Honorable Adams actually told us here that the PKTT actually lives a luxurious life, and they are accommodated in 6-star hotel. I've never seen a 6-star hotel, but that was actually said here and is on record. Why I'm interested in that is that this is on record. If we leave it unchallenged, then it's going to go on as it is. So is the PKTT living in luxurious hotels, 6-star hotels? Are they living a lavish life as it was actually alleged before us here?
Honorable Chair and members, Mr. Adams, what he presented there before this committee was false. The record speaks for themselves. The CFO of the South African Police Service came here and presented before this committee that the PKTT were the least expensive task team in existence. they never slept in any six-star hotel, neither at Oyster Box. So it's a lie. The only way to justify that, it must come with proof, to say here is a proof where they slept. It does not have that because it does not exist.
Well, thanks, General. We had also some comments being made under oath that Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, quote unquote, is a constitutional delinquent. Do you regard yourself as such?
There's been many allegations, honorable members, about General Mkhwanazi, that to date, I've never been someone to appear anyway to come and give my account of things against the allegations made. So every other allegation that is presented before this committee, it remains allegations that I can say here that I don't know about it and I'm not involved in any of those allegations.
Thank you, Lieutenant General. When last did you hear from Miss Mary DeHaas?
I had never heard from Mary DeHaas for a long time. I'm not sure if she's still around, but I've never heard of her.
The PKTT, is it still operational? If so, what is the reporting line now? Do they still report to ultimately to the IMC as it was the case before? If so, is the IMC still meeting? Because we heard, through some other, testimonies that IMC last met, I think in 2023, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm glad if it's true what the honorable member said earlier, that the boss of the minister dispute the fact that the minister say that the IMC ceased to exist in the sixth administration, which means maybe the boss might need to reprimand his subordinate for that, because it is the subordinate that said it, who's a minister. The IMC has not met since the days that we presented to date, has not met. The PKT is operating. I've assigned the Deputy Provincial Commissioner, General Kupalo, to oversee the work that they do, whilst General Kumalo at times still gets some information about the activities they do, but General Kupalo is overseeing what they do in KZN. There is a new PKTT that has been established. Some of the members from KZN has gone and joined the new PKTT. And this PKT has been established in Gauteng province. I do not know their command structures, but they are there in Gauteng operating. So we have two PKTTs now.
Well, thanks, General. Well, because this is probably the last time you will be appearing before this committee, I would like to also make my own observation about the PKTT. Because as you know, I come from Nongoma. Nongoma at some point was the capital of political matters for the longest of time. And in fact, the first councillor to be killed in South Africa was at Nongoma. And for that matter, he was the mayor, Mr. P.J. Scott. And there had been dozens of killings in Nongoma. But the advent of the PKTT, I would say, actually